Newcastle United.
Get in.
Come on.
Job done. Job done, boys. Job done. All the same. We didn't need penalties after all. Welcome one and all to Loaded Bag in UFC. This is the reaction show to Newcastle versus Fulham in the quarterfinal of the League Cup. Defending champions Newcastle United are safely through to the semi-finals. As we await the draw, we'll be going live. We'll break off whatever we're talking about to go live to Pete on the draw as soon as it starts moving. I think we're ball number 3, if I remember from earlier today. We're meant to be ball number 3. Pete, how are you?
Very good. Another semi-finals for us, boys. It wasn't easy. It was a hard-fought game. I thought Fulham did well. Thought Fulham looked dangerous on the counter, but I was absolutely delighted with that last-minute goal, and what a way to go and win it last minute where there's no chance really of a chance to get back in. Of course, the old 6-7 pops up with a mighty. It's superb stuff. I'm really happy, just all round with lots of things that I saw tonight. Like I say, it wasn't perfect, but there's lots of positives to take from that. But as we said, it's not just about tonight, it's about the other games to come. So good start, but more to come.
And that's why the sunglasses will not be on straight away. We will need to get something done, back to business at the weekend, and even on United on Stephen's Day.
That's froze. Steve?
I think he has. But he looks happy though. Look how happy he is. I'm back.
Chris, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. I'm pleased that we've progressed. I'm absolutely delighted for Louis Miley. Another headed goal, and what a goal it was. Did really, really well with that. As you say, but as you boys say, it's an improvement. Was it perfect? Was it fantastic? No, but there was signs of improvement. I think, and it was great to see Yoane Wissa get his first start as well. Let's be honest, I was excited. I think Pete, you posted it in the group, didn't you? And I saw it, but my battery went, and I was in Tesco, and then my battery went. And I charged it when I got home, and I saw that Yoane Wissa was in the starting 11. And saw how excited you boys were that Yoane Wissa was in the starting 11. So yeah, great, and it was good to get the first view of him from the start. But yeah, I'm good on a personal level. I'm good. 2 more days in work, boys. 2 more days.
I'm off tomorrow.
You whoopee.
Nasty work that does.
That was well planned because I knew we'd be doing a reaction show late at night. So and I put something on tomorrow, but play for my boy. But you've been a 6-7, I'm sure, involved in that as well. But
how are you, Dash? You all right, mate?
I'm good. I'm great now. Great.
Oh, you got to play off tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I do work up until Tuesday though. On the downside. But what was I going to say? We're probably going to have to cut off the reaction pretty soon. So maybe we might get the team news in first, and then we'll probably the broad draw probably in progress. So this was the team news. As we try and get into it, please share. Why isn't it sharing? There we go. Right. So yeah, some changes. 6 changes in all for Newcastle. Hall out. Wissa in. Ramsey in. Bench looked interesting as well. The injuries are racking up though. And on the Fulham side of things, They were missing 3 with regards that are gone to Afghan. Iwobi, Chukwueze, and Bassi. Shirley is off to Afghan as well. So, yeah. What did you make of the team news, lads?
Buzzing to see a couple of people in the lineup, really. They're buzzing to see Wissa start. We kind of said it on the reaction chart. I said I wanted to see Wissa start this game. I wasn't sure it was going to happen, but I'm absolutely buzzing that it did. So really great to see him on number 9 starting the game for Newcastle United. And he did not disappoint, that is for sure. But another one as well, Jacob Ramsey, been almost ousted, not really having any minutes, but played tonight. And again, a boy, in my opinion, who did not disappoint. So really great to see those two. Obviously, the big talking point was Miley at right back. But if people have remembered a couple of weeks back, Eddie Howe had said and been asked the question about Miley because he played Marseille when he came off the bench. He played sort of right wing back-ish. And Eddie Howe said he can play there. So seeing him play there was a bit like, oh, that's interesting. Thought it might be that Lewis Hall was being rested. Turns out he's got a hamstring problem, a minor hamstring problem, which is just another issue on top of another issue with regards to defensive problems. And I think we'll be talking about something that gets a little bit worse with our defensive problems in this game as well. So looking at the lineup was a few interesting points, but Wissa and Ramsey for me are the 2 exciting bits of it all.
Chris, your thoughts on the team news as it dropped from Newcastle?
Yeah, it took me a while to work out what the formation was, what the lineup was, because when I was looking through all the names, I was, as I'm sure you boys do, we remember back in the day that we used to put all our players' names in order of the position they were playing, and then obviously we changed it to numbers. So as I'm going through it, I'm like, right, okay, Tino's right back, Chow and Schär, which I expected, and then I was like, hang on, where's Lewis Hall? And then I'm like, oh, so Tino must be left backs, and I'm like, right, who's playing right back? And then I see Jacob Murphy, I saw Louis Miley, so I was a bit all over the place. But when I got to the bottom of it, I thought it was an interesting lineup. Obviously, as Pete's already mentioned, I was delighted Yoane Wissa was starting. I think that was really good. It was great, obviously, to see Jacob Ramsey in the team. And as well, it kind of shows how depleted our defensive line is at the moment, because obviously we saw Alex Murphy and Leo Shahar on the bench. So I thought, okay, so possible opportunities there. And there was an opportunity for one of those players, which we'll talk about a bit later. But yeah, I was excited going into the game, and I thought the team's good enough, strong enough. And obviously, as I've already mentioned, seeing Yoane Wissa playing through the middle was something I was particularly looking forward to. But yeah, I was encouraged by the lineup, and I thought we've still got enough here to be able to put Fulham to bed.
Cool. Cheers, Chris. Just to note as well, we have a poll running in the chat of who you would like to see us get in that semi-final draw. So if you haven't made your selection, get it in quick, because I'm going to close that in the next 2 minutes. For me, I was like you, Chris. I put my notes down and I lay out the team, and I had to change it a few times just to get the formation right, because I didn't know who was playing where and trying to guess. I originally had Murphy at right back because I thought that was what I was going to do. But interesting the way it did play out. Pete, are we far away from the draw?
Sorry, I'm just on mute at times just because I'm listening to the bit on TV. It's just Marco Silva having an injury, and I don't really care about anything.
Let's go through the first half.
You see, I was flicking between ITV and Sky because I wasn't sure who was doing the draw, but ITV's finished now, so Sky should be doing it. But yeah, I imagine it'll be after the Marco Silva interview that they'll tell us when the draw's actually going to be made. So I'll keep an eye out, and I'll let you know. We'll break up when we need to, lads.
Exactly. Cool. So yeah, let's get into it. Some early corners for Fulham, dealt with by Newcastle. Then on 9 minutes, some ball from Schär, cross pitch diagonal to Murphy with the cross. First time hit, the keeper parried it, and Wissa pounced. on his starting debut. Our new number 9 is off the mark, 1-0 up. And as I said in our chat, Pete, I said 1 down, 14 to go. I was referring to Wissa in the 15-goal target. I said not 15 goals tonight that you implied.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, that would have been very impressive. But cue the celebrations from Wissa as rain picks up here in Galway, home of Alex Murphy of Newcastle United. Some celebrations from Wissa there as well. Boys, what did you make of his goal? Chris.
Go on, Chris.
Firstly, do you know what? I mean, you boys know how much I love this guy. Like, I absolutely love Fabian Schär. Love him. And that ball, that crossfield ball, must have been 45, 50 yards. It was just a fantastic ball. And this was a common theme tonight from Jacob Murphy, just constantly pinging balls into the box. And it was like, oh my God, we're winning corners. Oh my God, the keeper looks a bit uncomfortable. Oh my God, Yoane Wissa is licking his lips because the ball's coming in to the 6, 8, 10, 12 yard, area. And it was great to see. But yeah, an absolutely wonderful crossfield ball from Fabian Schär, who was playing on the left side of the centre half tonight. Really great ball. And Jacob Murphy brings it down low and hard into the box, as you taught from a young age. Get the ball into the mixer, put it in the dangerous area. Even if the striker's not there, you put it in that area and the striker knows he's got to run onto it. Now, what I loved about this goal, apart from what I've just spoken about, is the fact that, the commentator said, oh, Yoane Wissa, easy chance for them. And it's like, no, you're missing the point here. The point is, Yoane Wissa, as a hungry striker, he's anticipating. You see in the replay, he's got a defender near him and the ball is coming in and you can see his eyes light up and he's like, right. And as you taught as, a young striker, you follow into the box. You go near to the goalkeeper. Will it take a deflection? Will the goalkeeper fumble it? Will the centre-back get a touch on it? You're taught to go toward the goal. That's exactly what Yoane Wissa does. And yes, it's fortunate, but the reason that it was fortunate is because he put himself in that position. He made that goal happen. And I was delighted for him, absolutely delighted for him, because to make your first start for your club and get on the score sheet, it was massive. And you even saw all the players, all the players were buzzing for him. And even throughout the game, you could see Yoane Wissa, like his confidence. He was puffing his chest out like he was the guy. He was playing. He's put the ball in the back of the net. So no, I was delighted. As I say, the commentator said it was fortunate. The commentator said, "Oh, Yoane Wissa, nice easy goal." It's like, no, Yoane Wissa did a lot of work to make sure that goal went in. Because if he hadn't anticipated what was going to happen, he wouldn't have been there to slot it home. And I tell you what, as well, last thing I'll say. Where the ball comes through pretty quick and he's just like, yeah, sound tap, bang. Loads of players wouldn't have hit that as sweet as he did, people won't give it the credit it deserves. He had like a split second
natural reaction.
And he just calm as you like, think. And buzzing. Great goal.
Cool. I'm just going to give the results of the poll as well of who people who the chatters want in the semi-final draw. Can I read the poll right this tonight? Chelsea, 69%. Arsenal or Palace, 19%. And Man City, 12%. So it was 135 votes in the poll. So we're all hoping for a Chelsea in the draw. Pete, maybe we'll get your thoughts on Wissa's goal if we have time.
Yeah, no, we do. It's just in adverts at the moment, so the draw not there yet. But it was an absolute pleasure to watch him tonight. It really, really was. I loved watching Yoane Wissa play. Just everything you want in a striker, really. Just a fox in the box, was a danger, was constantly on the move. Lovely ball out from Schär, switching the play. It wasn't the first time, and it wasn't the last time he played a ball like that. Murphy, being Murphy, great delivery in. People will argue it's poor from the goalkeeper, but this is what Yoane Wissa does. He comes alive in the box, and he is very hard to mark in the box. He's not static. He doesn't stand still. He's always on the move. And if you notice, when that ball first comes in, he's actually behind the second defender, but he makes a darting run to the front because he anticipates the ball's going to come there. And honestly, even from Nick Voltemade and even from Alexander Isak, it was a frustration for me for over a year that both of those strikers just don't make a forward run. They always make their run to the back post. Well, he doesn't. He makes his run to the front post, and he gets the reward for making that run, because obviously he doesn't get hold of the first ball, but the ball comes out to him from the goalkeeper, and he's there to kind of put it home. And you talked about how he finished that, Chris. I thought, in my mind, I was thinking that was seamless, because it was just in tandem. It was like he made the run, the ball comes out, and in one moment he swoops and he puts it in, and it's a lovely finish. And that's what we've missed all season. We've had opportunities like that. And this is not a slant on Nick Voltemade. He's a different type of striker, but this is why we need two strikers that offer something different, because that's the type of finish and the type of chance that Yoane Wissa will eat up. And it fills me with confidence. Seeing him do that and score a goal like that fills me with confidence that he is going to put numbers on the board this season, that he will score goals for Newcastle United. And I'm so happy to see that. Obviously, his reaction was a little bit guarded, because I think in his mind he still knows the reaction of the fans and all the rest of it. There's no point going mad and celebrating and stuff, because the fans are still obviously we're quite rightly annoyed still by Sunday. So it was a little bit subdued, but the fans were absolutely buzzing for him, and I was buzzing for him. I was so happy to see him score. And hopefully it's the first of many. But yeah, brilliant goal all round, and maybe not deserved from the balance of play, but that just shows the quality of the team. What about you, Dan?
Oh no, I was absolutely delighted when the ball hit the back of the net as well, and he was just his reaction and to be in the right place at the right time. I mentioned it later. He's a bit of fox in the box, and just even I also mentioned that there's something different about him as well. He's a bit more pace than Big Nick, so for the press, it suits him a bit better. We'll carry on. Let's go to Fulham's goal, because on 15 minutes, 6 minutes later, Saša Lukić puts the ball in the net to level matters. Fulham were targeting our right back position, because Miley kind of just tended to wander into midfield. We're on the draw.
We're here.
Pause.
I think we're here.
Let's go.
Well, they're standing around the balls, so it's ready to go. So Chelsea 1, City 2, Newcastle 3, and then Arsenal, Palace 4. They're the numbers. So let's wait and see. First number comes out. Do you want home or away, Ty?
I want away first.
Away first?
Away first, yeah.
Number 1, Chelsea. Out first.
I would take 3 now. I would take 3 now.
Yeah. Number 4, we've got Man City.
Fucking hell.
We've got Man City. So all is now decided
do it again.
Home or away. Yeah, so Arsenal.
Hopefully one's first out. Hopefully. No, sorry. It's 2.
We're home draw first. Home draw first.
A good lead, so.
Home tie against City. Ooh. Wow. There you go, lads. There you go. Newcastle.
That's the end of the draw.
Man City, yeah. The draw, nice and simple, easily done. I blame Jamie Redknapp, absolute clown, picking us out first. Shea would have had us out. Shea would have had us out second, no doubt.
Yeah.
But
should get Harry Redknapp in again. Here he's come back to Spurs.
Yeah.
Right. We'll talk a bit more about the draw later. Let's go through our reaction. So, as I mentioned, in 15 minutes, 6 minutes after we'd scored, Saša Lukić has the ball in the back of the net. The Fulham were targeting our right back position with Miley kind of drifting into midfield in the opening exchanges of the game. bit suspect market there, and then where he got loose. I think the commentary mentioned Murphy, maybe Bruno wasn't tracking him. But thoughts on their goal, I guess.
I'd be lying if I said it wasn't coming. Fulham just looked so dangerous on the break, continuously looked dangerous on the break, and you know what? The midfield was played through so easy in that first half. There was always just like, it was frustrating me because we would do so much work to press and win the ball back, and we'd win it back quite a few times. We won possession back a lot in that first half and went on the counter, and it was great to see. And we were having to work so hard to do that. But then they would just play one ball, and it would just play through the whole of our midfield, and they'd be on the counter, and there'd be two men beyond our midfield three that would be on the counter attack. And I was thinking to myself, how is it that they're playing through us so easily? Are we going too gung ho? Are we pressing too high? Are we? I don't know the answer to that. But I was just racking my brain thinking, like, what are we doing for them to play through so easy? Just one ball every time. And Bruno recovery isn't great. His recovery weren't great. But what was really frustrating about that is that Lukić is in a position where he's around on midfielders before the ball gets put into the box. And he gets put into the box, and he just ghosts past our whole midfield to win that header. And I'm thinking, who's marking him? Someone's seen that because they're right near him. So even someone behind him should be seeing that, whether it's Ramsey or whoever, and should be letting the person know, whether it's Bruno or somebody else, that that's their man. No one seems to communicate, and he just ghosts into the box, and it's a free header. Nothing really that Ramsdale can do about it. And to be fair, the first thing Fabian Schär does is turn around to the midfield, and his arms are out like, what are you doing here? How are you allowing that to happen? Because the defence was set up right. Nothing wrong with the defence. Obviously, you'd argue that the ball shouldn't have come into the box, but it does. We had enough players there to deal with it. But the problem is that defensively, we were not good. And we just didn't. And I don't know who's at fault for that in terms of the midfield. I don't know whether it's Willett, Bruno, or Ramsey that was tracking Lukić, but he just seems to have something on us, because I'm sure he scored in the game at St James's Park in the league as well. And it just seems to have something on us where he just seems to find space and just nick the ball in. But we were rocky. In between that midfield and defence, we were rocky, particularly for that first half, maybe first 50 minutes of the game. And it told. And if you're going to keep allowing players to find space in that little pocket, they're going to punish you, and they did. From their perspective, good goal. Couldn't argue, they deserved it. But really disappointing for us, because, again, we have dropped a 1-0 lead, and I was just praying at 1-0. I was like, please, just hold on to that 1-0 and try and build into the game. And we just couldn't. And it was just like, rinse and
14 more.
Yeah. I was thinking, Wissa, we need that second of the 14, mate. Let's get going. But yeah, in all seriousness, disappointing to concede that one.
You know what? I'm gonna say it here now. It's a bit better to have a bit of some smiles in our faces, lads, after the last couple of days. But Chris, let's go to you. We weren't smiling then when the Fulham scored, but your thoughts on their goal?
No, I have to say I was smiling at Alan's comment there. Alan ZW9IM. Is this the Three Stooges talking about a Mickey Mouse cartoon army? It's no fun, is it, Alan? When Newcastle win, it's no fun, mate. It's no fun. I know people enjoy when they're
misery
struggling. Yeah. So maybe next time, if you come on next show, Alan, hopefully Newcastle won't have won, and then you can enjoy it a bit more.
Who's Alan's support then?
That reminds me of like Everton, Liverpool, but it's probably unlikely. That's something my boys have come out with. But it could well be Sunderland. We will have to see.
We'll see Alan in the first preseason game, because we're almost a bit ropey in that one, because we're going to run now. So
hopefully. In terms of the goal, it was interesting actually, because the commentator was blaming Murphy, saying, "Oh, he shouldn't let him get the ball in the box." But for me, Like, I agree with what they're saying, but Saša Lukić being unmarked and having nobody within about 10 yards of him was criminal. Absolutely criminal. When I watched it back a few times, so he goes through the middle, and you could argue that it's either Bruno or Ramsey. Now, I'm not blaming Ramsey because Ramsey actually presses to go towards the player that I think there was a player nearby, and Ramsey goes to press him, and then you almost see Ramsey look over as he does it, as if to say, you know, one of you is going to have to tuck in, and Bruno didn't. But either way, I think it's probably not about it singling out individuals. It's probably singling out the midfield as a whole. A bit like what Fabian Schär did and just said, boys, can one of you pick him up? Somebody's got to pick him up. Whether it's Bruno, whether it's Willock, whether it's Ramsey, whoever, somebody has to pick him up, and they didn't. And yeah, you're right, Pete. It was a bit of a worrying thing, and we've seen that a bit this season, haven't we? In terms of you know, just pass through the middle, and as it turns out, it was a cross into the middle. But yeah, there's nobody anywhere near him, and yeah, the defense was all landed because I was looking, going Tino on a man, Schär on a man, Chow on a man. Obviously, Murphy has allowed the cross to come in, but yeah, it should have been far better defended. I mean, Saša Lukić does well with it, but as I say, he's got all the room and all the time in the world to pick his spot with the header. But yeah, it's disappointing. And at that point, I was just thinking, oh God. And then in my head, I'm thinking, oh, penalties. Is this going to be penalties? But things did pick up. You know, we did start to play a lot better. But yeah, particularly the first 15, 20 minutes, I thought we were just really, it was just too easy. I wasn't expecting the reaction we got, but things did improve. But yeah, in terms of the goal, disappointing, but kind of shot ourselves in the foot. That was our making that goal.
Story of our season, isn't it? Right, 80 minutes. Wissa has an attempt from a header from a cross, came to nothing. Ramsey quick on the intercepts and to release the ball, something different that we haven't seen this season from our other midfielders. Also can put in a tackle, that's what I noticed. End to end, this one then. They also noted that the defense had the confidence to pass it back to Ramsdale at speed. No worries about Ramsdale picking it up and putting it somewhere he needs to as well after that. Wissa also had, as I mentioned earlier, had the extra gear that Big Nick lacks for the press. 36 minutes. Bruno with a shot from outside the box saved. Wissa nearly in with the follow-up as well. Yeah, as I said, fox in the box. Newcastle pushing hard for their second as the dominance in the last 10 minutes of that game, as we're looking for the reward. 43 minutes. The tackle from Wissa right before halftime to win the ball back in his own half. Boom, right in there. That's what you want to see. Despite the dominance, Newcastle end the half level, 1-1. Any other thoughts on the first half, boys?
You know what it reminded me of, lads? It reminded me a little bit of the Man City game, in the way that how we pressed really well. I'm talking from an attacking entity here. We pressed really well. We won the ball back. I have to give a shout out to Jacob Ramsey. Now, I saw a couple of things at halftime on social media saying, Jacob Ramsey, what a waste of a signing. He's rubbish. I'm sorry that whoever they were watching a completely different game, because I was really, really liking what I saw from Jacob Ramsey. He was good with the ball. He protected it. He made good decisions. The amount of times that he won the ball back through high pressing and just getting stuck into the player. And his ability to turn on the ball in tight spaces was really good. He did it 2 or 3 times. Where he got the ball fizzed into him in the middle of the park with a man really close to him, and he was able to turn and use his body to turn the ball into the attacking direction and just drive with it. A couple of times I think he got fouled actually off the back of it. But I really like what I saw from him in the first half, and he really allowed us to maintain attacking emphasis in the game. He allowed us to keep going and keep working and keep driving forward. And actually, at times, he was the one overlapping Barnes when it should have been Tino Livramento. And he was being that extra man on that left-hand side. He was effective with doing everything. I saw him pop up on the right-hand side. I saw him picking the ball up in the middle of the park and making things happen. I saw him popping up on the left-hand side. He was everywhere. Did he have a chance in front of goal? No. But was he a part of anything that we were doing that was positive? Absolutely. And I just thought, you know what, he deserves a bit of a shout out, particularly for that first half, because I thought he was really, really good. But in that first half, it did remind me a lot of what we did against Man City. Really high press, really pushed, really emphasised with the ball. It was just the only thing that let us down, really, is just in defensive moments. We just weren't as solid in between that midfield and in defence. We just weren't tight. But is it to be expected when we've got so many injuries? We've got so many players that are out at the moment. It is a little bit all over the place, and we've made a lot of changes. I'm kind of just giving it that's the reason, and that's fine. It feels like
and head yourself.
Feels like I'm doing a 6-7, but I'm not yet anyway. But yeah, I did take, even though it was 1-1, I did take a lot of positivity from that, and my thoughts were, if we can do that again, shooting down at the Gallowgate, we'll get another couple of chances to win the game. That was kind of my thoughts at halftime.
Chris, anything you want to say about as we got to halftime?
Yeah, I was disappointed to go in 1-1. I thought Fulham started the game much better. Newcastle came into it a bit. Yeah, like Pete, I didn't have a problem with Jacob Ramsey. I think he's one of those players who probably a lot of his good work probably goes unnoticed to most, because he is that kind of player who turns the ball over. He does the simple things very, very well. He's not one of those players who, will pick the ball up and hit it from 25 yards and score. He's capable of doing that, don't get me wrong, but he's not that kind of player who's going to consistently do that week in, week out. I think he's just one of those tidy players who probably does a lot of unsung hero things. Pete spoke about the press. Technically on the ball, I think he's very, very good. And I have to highlight that because and maybe tonight I'll be a little bit more as well, I have to say I've been very critical of the likes of Antonee Elanga, who doesn't, for me, possess that technical ability, whereas Jacob Ramsey on the ball is very, very good. You can see that he's got great balance. He can turn on a sixpence, and he's always looking to bring other players into it. And if you add into that the press that he provides and the energy, I think he's probably a player who, when he's not in your team, you miss him. Now, for me, it's about trying to give him, a run of games, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, because he's only going to improve. I just hope that we see him again on the weekend against Chelsea, because I want to see him in this midfield, and I want to see him have a good run of games and build his confidence, get to, know his teammates, get playing regularly with the same players, and almost try and kickstart his Newcastle career, because it feels like he's been quite stunted since he's joined, whether that be through injury, whether that be through loss of form. I found it interesting because in the presser that I watched pre-match, Eddie Howe almost didn't he didn't downplay the majority of the signings, but he did acknowledge that the likes of, obviously Yoane Wissa, Jacob Ramsey, Antonee Elanga hadn't quite started their Newcastle careers maybe in the best way, but that he was confident they were going to be able to do it. And obviously, a big sign of that tonight, giving Jacob Ramsey a start. But I just hope now he keeps him in that team, because to me, boys, and I don't know about you, it's no good. It's no good putting Jacob Ramsey on the bench now for the weekends. Just keep him in the team, get him fit, get him playing, match ready. That's what I would do personally. But yeah, first half as a whole, I mean, the bar was incredibly low, boys. It was incredibly low. Was it better than what we saw on Sunday? Absolutely. Lots of things to like. Was it perfect, as we said at the start of the show? No. But it was vastly improved on what we'd seen previously, and I was confident going into the second half that we could kind of kick on.
Kick on, we did, because Newcastle still into the second half. Newcastle still knocking on the door. Will anyone answer? 64 minutes, ball in the net from Newcastle. Bruno plays in Murphy. Anderson puts it in, but Murphy was offside. Then Tino's directly after that. Tino was in, and his place shot was saved. 71 minutes. Big Nick on Wissa off, Tonali on, Willock off. Then 3 minutes later, Tino goes down. And this will be a talking point for us later on. Tino is down. Adding to the injury crisis we have, Alex Murphy takes to the pitch. Come with the man, come with the hour. Man, the match display from Alex Murphy ensues in the game. Well, 83 minutes. Gordon on, Barnes off, Elanga on, Murphy off. Last roll of the dice from Eddie. We went to 6 minutes at a time. We're lining ourselves up for penalties then, boys. But and then on the 90th minute, up steps the man who is going to deliver, and that is Lewis Miley. Miley, first of all, he had a shot saved by the keeper, which resulted in a corner, and the resulting corner, which was whipped in by Sandro Tonali, Miley's pushed. He gets his head to it and connects, and back of the net, Miley with the winner. 6-7. That's what we all wanted to see. And here is the celebrations from Miley. But boys, I want to get your thought. I love that picture. That shows the passion there. That one. Thoughts, Pete? We'll go to you. Thoughts on Miley's goal?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. I was jumping up and down at that one when that one hit the net, because I was thinking, please just conjure up one more chance so we don't have to go to penalties. It was like the last thing we needed, having gone through on Sunday. But brilliant goal all round. But we really pushed. You know, like what we saw tonight is what we craved for on Sunday. It's just that attacking emphasis, that continued wave of attacking, and just ushered the players forward. But they did it themselves. It didn't need the fans. They pushed themselves forward. And continue to like recycle the ball and continue to attack. As you mentioned, it was unlucky. I thought it was going in the back of the net. The deflected shot from Miley that got the corner. I was convinced it was in. It was a fantastic save from the goalkeeper, by the way. And then, great delivery from Sandro Tonali. Really, really good. We've not had too many great deliveries from corners recently. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing that Miley's becoming a real threat in the air, getting in on things. He's 6'4". He should be really, but the fact that he's in there and he's absolutely getting involved and willing to put his head where it hurts to get on the end of that, and it was almost like he'd been pushed. He'd headed the ball, and it kind of like he almost got pushed at the same time, and that almost gave him the additional kind of weight to flick the ball into the far corner. It's a great header. It's a proper attacking header. That's what you see from experienced strikers, where you get that little flick on. You should just aim it towards goal. You just get something on it. It was a perfect header, and yeah, it was just a brilliant goal. And what a way to win the game. Because you score at that moment at the 91, 92 minutes. Fulham knew some of their players were on the floor flat. They knew that they weren't getting back into the game at that point, and we knew that we'd won it. And it was brilliant stuff. So great stuff all round. Really, really delighted for Miley to score again, because that just shows that he's ready to play at this level. I said it after the Everton game. I reiterate it again. Yes, he might have not had a stellar performance against Sunderland, but nobody did. But he is showing that he can play football at Premier League level on a regular basis for Newcastle United. I'm really glad to see him get on the end of that and score that goal. So brilliant stuff all around from Miley. Great to see Sandro come on and produce that moment. I thought Sandro was a real upgrade. Now, Joe Willock, I didn't think had a bad game. I thought he ran really well. I thought he worked really hard. Some of his recovery runs were outstanding. In the first 65 minutes, he didn't have a bad game. But when you've got that little extra level of quality that comes on, like Sandro was, some of the transitions that he cut out. Fulham are really good on the transition, by the way. Really good. They attack with numbers and they attack well. But the amount of transitions that he cut out was absolutely brilliant. So great to see him come on and have a really good performance, because we questioned him on Sunday. We've questioned him the last few games. He hasn't been great. But he came out swinging tonight, and he had a really good performance. It was a great ball in there, and great goal. Happy days all round.
Happy days, and it was a great goal. But if you ask Lewis Miley to do something, he always delivers, and that's what you want. This man comes with goals, and he's clocking them up this season. So lovely to see. Chris, thoughts on Lewis Miley's goal?
Yeah, and I was delighted for it, mate. He's really stepping up in this squad this season. When we need him most as well. Keeping Joe Linton out the team. I don't know how fit Joe Linton is, but I think he's given Eddie Howe a difficult decision now, because it almost feels like this is the transition of Joe Linton making way for Louis Miley, full of energy. Obviously played right back tonight, but I used to see him in the starting 11, and maybe from a couple of years ago, obviously when we had all those injuries, and I used to think, oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be good. Now I'd see him, and I'm just like, great, Louis Miley's playing. And that's obviously big credit to him, and that he's a player who you now trust. He's a player who that is going to be capable of putting a performance in. And I think you mentioned this a while back, Pete, that he seems to like playing with Bruno. And you see that him and Bruno get on really, really well. And I think the players respect him. I think they know what he brings to the team. Local lad, obviously, that's a huge bonus. But I'm a big fan of Louis Miley. He's got all the capabilities of being a very, very good player for Newcastle United. And he's only going to get better. And the way that you make him better is by keep playing him, keep getting his experience up, keep putting him in matches. By the sound of things, we might have to. Based on some of the injuries we've picked up in the last 24 hours. So yeah, I was delighted for them. Really good cross. The corners have been half improved. I've noticed in recent weeks the corners actually look quite threatening. So yeah, great delivery, and Louis Miley there again, really, really good in the air. Buries it, and then obviously at that point that we're through to the next round, because we've only got to see out 3 or 4 minutes tops. So yeah, absolutely delighted for them, and another huge goal for Newcastle United.
Wasn't over yet though, because Newcastle need to hoof the ball clear via Tonali. We were just saying in our chat as well. Let's just see this through. Keep the heads here. Tonali also tries to bring the ball and keep it in the corner. The shithousery was back. They're Teddy in though at nearly the last kick of the game with a thunder bastard from nowhere at the end, but it went over the bar, so nothing to worry about. 2-1 into the semi-final. We go, and we now know that we're playing Man City. But any last thoughts on the game, boys?
It was a hard-fought win. We would have all wanted a Newcastle United steamroll, 4-0, comfortable win, lots of goals scored. It doesn't always work like that, particularly in quarterfinals. You've got good teams in there. Regardless of what people think of Fulham, Fulham have been good at the moment, back-to-back away wins coming into this game. They've been a decent side away from home. They've been really, really difficult to play against. As we found in the Premier League, they're a difficult team to play against, and we had to dig deep. We had to fight. We had to show that grit and determination and that will to not give up and to keep going. And we did. And sometimes, it brings out a different side of you. And if you got that in your locker, well, we did tonight. And regardless of what's happened before, we can only look at and give our perspective of what happened tonight. And I was pleased that we showed those types of minerals. And it gives me confidence that we can continue in that vein. If we work hard, if we keep doing that at St. James's Park, we will pick up some points. And we're going to need to do it on Saturday, because Chelsea are another step up from Fulham. It's going to be a difficult game. I don't know what players we're going to have available, particularly in defence, but we're going to need to keep that grit and that determination and that work rate up. So positive signs. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it everything okay and rosy? Far from it. But it's a positive signs that we just need to keep building from. So, look, we're into the semi-finals, yes, against a very, very difficult team. But what's that? Three semi-finals in 4 years. It's not a bad stat. Not a bad stat at all for a team that wants to be in that last knockings in a potential of winning the trophy. And again, we're 2 games away from Wembley. And yes, Man City are a difficult side, but we've beaten at St James's Park before. Let's go do it again.
Chris, any last thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing tonight for me was seeing an improvement on the performance, and I think we did. Would I have liked more? Yeah, of course I would. But aside from the performance, which was the most important thing, in my opinion, it's great to get through. It is obviously great to get through. And obviously we've had our cup draw this evening, the quickest cup draw ever. And yeah, through to the semi-final yet again, 3 times in 4 years, as Pete says. So it's a great achievement by the lads. Obviously, I'm a bit concerned, a bit worried over the injury situation, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, I am pleased that we've progressed this evening against a Fulham side who are playing pretty well at the moment. I thought we handled Harry Wilson really, really well, because whenever he got the ball, he looked dangerous. He looked like a player full of confidence, but we managed to keep him at bay for large parts of the game. And what I particularly liked at the end, boys, and I don't know if you saw it, Tonali, when he came on, who I thought was outstanding when he came on, by the way, doing a Bruno. I think he put the ball out for a throw in, blocked it, and he's screaming to the crowd. And if you'd have rewound a couple of years ago, you wouldn't have seen that from Tonali. He was quite an introverted character. So clearly, he's been affected by Sunday, and he's let his emotion out. He knew that we needed that extra push from the crowd to get it over the line. So it was great to see. But yeah, much improved performance from the weekend. We're through to the next round. Lots to be happy about. And yeah, I just hope now that at 12:30 on Saturday we're ready and we're raring to go against Chelsea.
Nice one. This is the team photo as well, boys. And let's see, everyone in there. It's the first time looking at it. Lean in, and like we're doing.
Tino's on the right hand side with the medical staff.
Yeah,
that was one I was looking for more than anything. What I did notice is it looks like a very kind of depleted group.
Yeah, totally.
With the amount of injuries that are there, it's a very depleted group. Obviously, lots of players missing. They were the two things I checked for. Are there any of the injured players in there? And not many, if at all. And then Tino's on the right hand side, but he's well covered, just behind James Bunce.
There it is. Catch everyone leaning in. Right. We go to some comments and questions. We're 2 games from Wembley, lads.
Yeah. Let me see, boys. We've got quite a few. So I'll start with the super chats, as we always do. So Chegmeister, thank you very much for your super chat, Chegmeister. Chegmeister says, "Bosom guys, praying Tino and Hall are okay." Now, I admit I hadn't seen anything on Lewis Hall today, and obviously when I didn't see him in the lineup, I was a bit concerned, and I thought, well, maybe he's been rested for Chelsea, who knows? But apparently, well, I heard you boys saying that he's apparently got a hamstring injury, which isn't the best. Hopefully that's not too long. Oh, breaking news
from Dom. Dom Skar is saying that Newcastle are considering a loan recall for Matt Targett from Middlesbrough.
Oh wow,
that's how bad things are getting.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
It for me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me. That doesn't fill me with confidence at all. That doesn't fill me with confidence, because what we need is to go out and buy somebody that's going to actually affect this team. I'm with Genie Esther. Genie Esther's put Target with laughing faces. I'm with you on that. It doesn't make sense to me at all. Why Matt Target is not good enough to play for Newcastle United. It was very clear, which is why he went on loan to a championship club. Why are we bringing him back? It doesn't make sense. that doesn't fill me with positivity going into a January window where I'm fully expecting us to go out and sign at least one fullback. And in all honesty, we need to sign a left back. I don't want Target coming back. Target's not good enough. He's doing all right at Middlesbrough, but he's in the Championship. Fair enough. We need to go out and buy a proper left back, someone that can actually challenge Lewis Hall. Because I'm going to be honest, Lewis Hall's on number 1 left back. But these niggly injuries that keep going on, people keep talking about Botman and other people. This is now the second hamstring injury he's had coming back, and he's barely played this season, in all honesty. And this is now the second hamstring injury. And anyone that's questioning, why is Lewis Hall not playing? Why is Lewis Hall not playing? Well, this is why. It's because he picks up these type of injuries far too easily. This is the second time now in a very short space of time he's picked up a hamstring injury. And the last time I think he was at 5 weeks, and that was meant to be a minor hamstring injury. Now they're saying the quotes that I've seen from the likes of Jordan and the likes of Craig Hope is that Hall has a chance of being available for Saturday. From the comments, and Dom doesn't put it on his comments, but from the comments that Craig Hope's put in, they're saying Eddie Howe said in his words, Tino doesn't look good. So that means that he's probably potentially going to be out for a while. Is it the injury happening again? Who knows? But this is not good. So we could potentially be going into that first game on the week beginning the 12th of January in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup without Tino Livramento. We don't know what's happening with Hall, maybe with or without Hall. We don't know what. We definitely won't have Dan Burn. Fabian Schär suspended, by the way, with that stupid yellow card that he picked up, so he's missing in that first round. I imagine you boys didn't know that because of your reaction. So we are depleted, massively depleted, and so therefore we are in a difficult moment. We need to go out and sign. We don't need to be going out and bringing back Matt Target. I think that's ridiculous.
And he says that Alex Murphy is in line to start if we don't bring back Hall come the weekend. Let's see. What's his space?
Just to add in, Tom Dixon put how on Tino Livramento. It doesn't look good. The fact he came off is a worrying sign, and we're so stretched in that area, it would be a problem. So that's what it looks like. Tom Dixon put the actual quote from Eddie Howe on what Pete was expanding on there. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think on Matt Target, has he got a long-term future at the club? No. I suppose the reason I said that I thought it would make sense is because I'm thinking, well, I mean, let's hope this isn't the case, but you know, if Lewis Hall's broken down, he's got a long-term hamstring injury, that's him out for, well, could be long weeks, maybe even months. Dan Burn's going to be at least 6 weeks. Tino Livramento looks like it could be not good based on what Eddie Howe's saying. Now, we've got Alex Murphy, as Daz rightly points out, but if we can't bring in that left back, I want to see a left back brought in, obviously, but if you can't bring in a left back, you need some kind of cover there. And Matty Target, whilst he's not the long-term future, and he's not somebody who you want to rely on going forward. I do think he's got that experience, and he's level-headed, and he knows the club, he knows the players. For a short-term fix, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it. And what's interesting is as well, boys, I don't know if this is a possibility. It could even be that he comes back for a couple of weeks in January and then we move him on. And then because he's not on loan, we've actually got the opportunity to move him on and maybe permanently sell him. Who knows? I don't know whether that's even a thing. I don't know if that's a possibility.
But just okay, if we weren't to recall him and we were to try and get through the next 3 games, Chelsea, Man United, and Burnley, then the window opens. We could have because we knew we were looking for a left back as it was, so you could have a deal lined up, ready to go for 1st of January.
Yeah, of course.
That's wishful thinking, I know, and the deals don't work like that. It usually drags on and on. But
I don't think Matt Target can play. He's not registered in our squad. You've got to be registered. And you can't open up the register to register a player to play until the January transfer window opens. That's the point.
Yeah,
is that there's no. If that was the case, teams would be calling players back like straight away. They call young. You can call young players back teenagers because teenagers sometimes don't count to a squad. So if you have a teenager on loan, you can bring them back and just put them straight in because they don't have to be registered. But Matt Targett is in his 30s. He has to be a registered player. So you can't just call him back and have him ready for Saturday or have him ready for Boxing Day. He has to wait. We can't call him back until January starts. So, like, again, we're going to play Chelsea away at Old Trafford and away at Turf Moor without him regardless. So this is my point. Like, if you're going to get into January, line up a left back to come in. Line up a left back to come in like we did Trippier all those years ago. Line up a left back to come in so they're ready to go for the beginning of January. So the FA Cup tie, and I think I'm not sure if we have Palace at home first or Leeds, one of the two. Like, you work through. You've got players ready for those games, and ideally, in an ideal world, you've got a player that's able to play in the Carabao Cup. You know, maybe get someone from Europe, therefore they can be registered into your squad and they can play in both games, in both competitions. Sorry, that should be the plan. Like, we should not be messing around here. We should not be messing around. There's a potential here to try and salvage some of our season. Bringing Matt Targett back and having him as a backup left back is not salvaging the season. For me, that is just like adding to the problem. Yes, we've got a body there, but for me, Targett doesn't offer anything at Premier League level that's going to tell me or fill me with confidence that we're going to continue to win matches. Like, I don't get it, and I don't agree with it with the potential of him coming back. Personally, just my opinion there.
Well, the next one we've got is from VIP, the Romero organisation. VIP, the Romero organisation, thank you so much for your super chat. Much appreciated, mate. Why is selling Elanga for 35 million a loss better than 55 million? So I think this is in relation to the last show, because we were saying, I think it was VIP Romero, correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but I think you said sell Elanga for 35 million, and I think what he's saying is, you know, you'll only make a loss of 17 million, but I think based on how it looks on the books and because we've had him for less than a year of his contract, you would take a huge hit in terms of PSR. That is the issue. I think if being honest, and boys, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think if Newcastle could recoup the 52 million, they probably would sell Antonee Elanga. But I don't think we'd be anywhere near that. And I think your estimation there, VIP Romero, of 35 million is probably more accurate if we were to sell him. And that's why I don't think we'll sell him. If you remind yourself of Odysseus Vlachodimos, who we signed from 20 million, from Nottingham Forest, that is why he's on loan at Sevilla, because if we sold him for his true value, which is probably about 5 million, we'd take a huge hit on PSR, which is why we haven't sold him, which is why he's on loan at Sevilla. And I think it was it Kieran Maguire, boys, who explained that to us, and he said that would be the case, because I think, you know, when we were quite new to this, you know, PSR world, we were suggesting, no, we can just sell Vlachodimos, and I'm sure it was him who said, no, you can't, because you will take a huge hit on the books, so you can't sell him. He would have to go out on loan. Tell me if I'm wrong saying that, boys.
No, you're right. We also had the conversation, I think, with Liam Kennedy about the topic as well.
Yeah. So hopefully that explains VIP Romero organisation. Let me see. Peter liked this one. Checkmeister Pete is saying, please sign El Canoes in January. What are your thoughts, Pete?
A signing we should have made in the summer, personally. He's done well there. I was reading something the other day, or the other week actually, a couple of weeks ago, on Bilal El Canoes, and they were saying he's already established himself as a key component. And yeah, I would absolutely have him, but all depends on the price. All depends on whether we can get the deal done. Obviously, he's only been there 6 months, probably less than that. Would I take him? Absolutely, because he offers something that we miss, that a little bit of quality and creativity. He plays between the forward line and the midfield. He's almost like he can play in that number 10 role. He can play off the left if needed. He offers something that I think he's a player that could play in that midfield three. Maybe he's a more attacking midfield three, like they like to play Joe Linton. Joe Linton in that three of midfield tends to play further forward and sometimes slots in that number 10 and is part of the press and plays on the attacking front. If we could get a player like Bilal Khanous, not necessarily him, but someone like him, that in those transitions where they're like to Ramsey and Bruno and Tonali winning the ball back, and we give it to a player like him, he could unlock doors. Like there was a couple of opportunities in the first half. Barnes wins the ball back in the middle of the park. Yoane Wissa makes a brilliant run down the middle and Barnes doesn't play it. And Wissa's going mad at him and he's going, give me the ball. If he plays it to him, he's in one-on-one. Bilal Khanous or a player like that will find those passes because he's got that creativity about him. That was an unfamiliar position for Barnes, whereas someone of that ilk can make the difference there. So I'm not just saying necessarily him, someone of that ability that can break the lines and make the difference and got that little bit of a killer pass. Yeah, we almost want someone like Bruno plays those killer passes. He played like about 10 or 15 of them tonight. Like he has that ability, but we want someone in an attacking area that's got that nous about him. And he's got that ability. And he's 20, 21 years old. Like it's massive room to grow. So let's see. Whether we get someone like that or not, who knows? But it's nice to know that we were linked with him. And apparently, from something that I read as part of an interview that he did, I think he talks about the fact that Newcastle was a team that was genuinely in for him in the summer. So who knows? Yeah,
he wanted to stay in the Premier League. I think Pete is why I was reading a bit about him as well. But be interesting. Are we targeting though like a left back, defender, and a striker? That's the talk I'm hearing. That's our priority, at least, unless something else becomes available.
I think they're the two positions, aren't they? That you'd argue, we need most. A left back and a striker. I mean, I'd love to get another winger in. I'm not going to lie, but maybe I'm pushing things a bit there with that. I suppose, the other position I'd particularly like us to bring in, not thinking about injuries for the moment, is a central midfielder, somebody who can offer something else, but that would probably involve someone like Joe Willock moving on. So whether or not that will happen, I don't know, but that would be my ideal. Left back, centre mid, striker.
There's a greater chance now than ever that we can move on. That we can move on Joe Willock. Absolutely. Joe Willock's playing regular football.
Only chance.
And he's not just playing regular football, like whether it's off the bench or starting like tonight. He's playing okay. Like so, he's not playing bad. Like there's a chance that we can genuinely move him on and actually get a good fee for him. But like at this moment in time, I think I said it on Sunday, but Joe Willock and Willa Sula are two that have to leave in January. Like they're the ones that we can genuinely get some money from, for both of them, significant money. And actually, there's a reality that if we got someone, Gene Essence would put in there, I'd be happy to get 20 million for Willock. Like, he's still at a decent age. I could see us potentially getting more, 20 with 5 add-ons, going to 25 million. So effectively what we paid for him, and we would have paid all that off, so it would be PSR free, if that makes sense. And Willa Sula, like, even if it was a loan with an obligation for like 30 million, same as what it was in the summer, but there's an obligation there. Like you're making what 20? You're making 50, 55 million off that. You could go out in the window with what PSR gives you and actually strengthen your team significantly just with that money alone. And then you've got the ESAP money that we've not touched yet that we could use for the summer. So there's a chance that we could be really creative in January, which is why I'm thinking this is such a big month for us, because we could actually do some pretty good business. And unlike Villa, we could do some pretty good business and still stay above board and do everything in the right way. So financially, we're still in a great position to go again in the summer. So there's moves to be made between now and the end of January. So we might have to sacrifice a couple of players, but so be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, breaking news, Dazzler.
Hopefully some good news. Come on.
This is the best news tonight. Look who's back in the chat. It's our Lisa. Lisa's back in the chat. I haven't seen you for a while, Lisa. So hope you're doing well.
Long while. Hope you're well.
We're doing well. That was it. That was the breaking news.
It says only 65 likes. We've had like 300 plus in the chat tonight. How have we not got over 100 likes already? We should be approaching 200. Come on, people. Firstly, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in at 37 minutes past 11. Thank you for tuning in for the draw and everything else. But just click that like, people. Let's get those likes up.
Absolutely. Right. Where are we? Checkmeister, I'm going to read out a few comments. Obviously, I won't come to questions, but yeah, Checkmeister says, I'd like to see Schär get a chance if Tino's out for a while. Absolutely. Same could be applied for Alex Murphy. Sometimes, boys, and we've seen it in the past, haven't we? Where players get thrown into the fray. Sometimes they sink, but sometimes they swim. And if they swim, all of a sudden you're looking and you've got a good squad player here who can kind of be useful going forward. You can only find this out if you give them an opportunity. So Alex Murphy, he certainly looks like somebody who could be in with a chance of an opportunity. And Leo Schär, why not? Doing really, really well for the youth team. So why not? Why not give him a chance to step up and have a go? So no,
he's the one that's got big potential. Yeah, I think the club are managing him very carefully. He's been training with the first team for quite a while now. Yeah, but they're not throwing him in. I think he came off the bench in one of the games earlier on in the season. I think he got his first little bit of run out. But yeah, I actually think from the bits that I've seen of him for the under 21s, I do genuinely feel like he's got a future at Newcastle United. I genuinely feel Leo Schär. I remember when he came from Wolves and there was big talk about him. I think he was only 16 at the time when he came through for us. Like there was big talk from Wolves and they were gutted to lose him because they saw him going into their first team. I absolutely feel like he's got a massive future at Newcastle United, but there's that risk of, you're right, sometimes throwing a player in and they thrive. We threw Alex Murphy in tonight. I actually think he played really well. Fair play to him. Daz would be happy to hear that he could well be getting more minutes. But no, genuinely, I thought he did well when he came on. I thought he handled himself really well against Harry Wilson, who I thought was superb. Yeah, I thought he was very, very good. But actually, Harry Wilson, contract's out in the summer.
Yeah, we were linked to him well before he ever went to Fulham, and
he's not the guy I would personally go for, but he's having a moment right now.
Yeah,
he's having a moment right now, and he's a player to be looked at. I'd be looking. You know what? I thought this earlier. Talking of left backs, Rico Henry, his contract's out in the summer.
Just back in at Brentford, isn't he? He's been out for a while with injury.
Just started playing again. Could you nab him on a cheap fee if he's not going to sign a new contract and bring him in? If you're looking for a quick fix of someone that's got a bit of experience to come in and be a makeshift for Hall as a left back, but also dependable. He's an attacking left back as well. Something like that. And if you're not going for someone young and you're willing to put down a bit of money for, could you not get a cheap deal for someone like him who's only got 6 months left in his contract? That's just one example of a few. But
I'll give you another one. Because he's changed agents, but I know he plays on the right. Denzel Dumfries, he's 29 from Inter, but that would mean Tino would have to play on the left for that. Our trips while Hall is with me, it doesn't make sense, and they would but it would be a nice option.
He would I don't want to even talk about this as a genuine thing, but he would be more of a Tino replacement than a like a fighting animal. Yeah. But and that's the thing. I have to say though, injury aside, I thought Tino was awful tonight. I thought he was really, really poor. Yeah, his first touch was bad. He just, I think, unforced errors in terms of giving the ball away must be close to double figures. thought he was really poor tonight. And I actually thought when he came off, I thought that he sacked it off because he was playing so badly. I thought he just thought, you know what, I'm having a shocker here. I need to get off the pitch. I thought it was that rather than an injury. I would have much preferred it. I'd have preferred it to have been that than actually an injury. But yeah, he was not good. Like you're right, Giniesta. Tino's always had a bad first touch, but tonight it was extremely bad. And yeah, he's not had a good couple of games for sure. But
no,
I just want to throw that out there.
No. Again, a few comments. Tom Dixon says, what a difference Tonali made when he came on. At last, somebody snapping into tackles. Yeah, Tonali certainly made his presence felt, and it was much needed. We love Sandro. Sean Clarney. Sean said, just a heads up, I've just left the ground. We were shocking. Now, it's interesting, Sean, because, we all know, the view of the fan is a lot different at home to the view of the fan in the stadium. So, obviously take on board what you're saying. And obviously anybody else in the chat who was at the match, please do let us know your thoughts as well, because obviously none of us were at the game tonight and we're only judging it from what we saw on the telly. But as we all know, it's a different beast, isn't it, when you're in the stadium and you're seeing it with your own eyes live. But thank you for your comment, Sean. Daz, this one's for you, because I picked up on this, and I'm sure Sean did as well, being in the stadium. But DXLE Newcastle says, I will tell you what, I wouldn't like to be Elanga currently. Every single pass, there was a crowd reaction. And I noticed that as well. There was a couple of moments. I mean, it probably doesn't help, does it? Because obviously he knows he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He knows everybody's watching, none more so than me. Every time he gets, I was saying to our Callum, every time he gets the ball, I was like, just watch the decision or watch the pass he does. And the example that I picked, it was like a hopeful pass down the line, but it was never going to get to the man. And then obviously the Fulham player intercepted it, and I just looked at him and went, now, it's a confidence thing, but do you think it probably doesn't help, does it? Because I imagine, if any of us, if we were playing on the Newcastle Foundation pitch and there was somebody constantly in the corner going, ooh, oh, every time he touched the ball, it would not help, would it? So what are your thoughts on that, Daz?
That would be Lee from Newcastle Fans TV. Look, I didn't take as much notice of him tonight. He did nothing, but because we're winning, it was just kind of to get the. Sorry, we weren't winning because we're chasing the game actually. So at that stage, but I said it on the Derby reaction. He was the most one that frustrated the hell out of me in that game. Tonight I didn't even notice him, and that's bad. So. Yeah, but we have to stick with it in the same way. We talked about the keeper of Odysseys. We have to stick with Elanga unless we're going to consider loaning him out as well. But he needs some kind of a jump start on him. It's not happening for him at Newcastle yet.
No, Pete, what are your thoughts on what DXLE has pointed out in terms of Elanga? Did you notice that he's getting extra special attention at the moment? Like, people, you can tell the crowd. I certainly could tell anyway. The crowd are very much reacting to every move that Antonee Elanga makes. And do you think that helps him at all? I imagine not.
It doesn't help him. If anything, that will lower his confidence even more. Yeah. He's just moved to a new club. New experience, new setup, new way of playing, and he will know he's not playing well. But to hear that reaction is only going to make him feel worse. Like it's like Tino just said, like Elanga shouldn't be playing. But like, how are you going to improve him? How are you going to get him out of this rut if you just keep him on the bench and don't use him? We said the same about Jacob Ramsey a minute ago, and he's come on and had a very good game tonight. Like you've got to keep playing these players, because if you don't play him, all of a sudden, like his confidence is going to be rock bottom, You're going to get even worse performances. And then people talking about his potential value and fee is going to be rock bottom again. Like, you've got to play him. We've paid a lot of money for him. We have to give him opportunities, not necessarily starting, but off the bench. But you mentioned about, you know, his touch and stuff and trying to find balls and going astray. This is because he's playing a style of football that he's not used to. Antonee Elanga is not used to having the ball 30, 40 yards away from goal and having to try and find passes and make possession and tick over possession, because Forest didn't play like that. He was the guy on the transition. So if he was in the Fulham team tonight, he would have been far more effective. Counter-attack, like on the counter, in the transition, getting in and behind a high line. That was his game. But he's playing a different way, and he's almost having to learn to play a completely different way all over again. Even when he did okay at Man United, he was playing in a transitional team. They're a counter-attacking team. We used to call it out all the time when they used to play against teams, because all they'd do is just hit a team on the counter. They'd be absolutely dog for 80 minutes, hit someone on the counter and win a game. And that's his game. But then you got to ask yourself, why did we sign him? If we are going to just play this way and we're not going to play to his strengths. And he is learning all over again, and he's in positions and in moments that he's not used to being in. So it's going to take him a little bit longer. That's not me defending him. That's just a fact. It was already well documented that he's not suited to our way of playing. And so it's going to sound horrible, but we're going to have to be really patient with him, because I don't see it taking a dramatic turn anytime soon. I genuinely don't. But to just not play him is not the right thing. We've got to give him an opportunity to try and build in, make connections, build relationships with players on the pitch to gain an understanding of what he needs to do when he's putting on the shirt. It's as simple as that. There was a couple of moments that he did all right. I thought he put a superb cross in late on, and Nick Voltamodo was at the back post. He didn't make the run that maybe a Wissa would in the front post, and it just literally fell to a defender and they cleared it. So there are moments. I did get the feeling that he was trying to, every time he got the ball, it was a bit like Murphy in the first half. When he got the ball, he was like shifting it and just trying to get the ball in. He was just trying to get a good crossing into a dangerous area. There was a couple of times where he couldn't, and he played the ball back and we ticked over and recycled possession. A couple of times where he tried to get the ball in into a dangerous area. So he is trying. It's going to probably take a little bit longer than we all want it to take, and that's just kind of where I'm at right now. But it wasn't good.
Yeah. No, and to be fair, what you're describing is exactly that, because so often, and I'm sure everyone at home will have seen this as well, like the ball gets played to him out on the wing, and if the ball's played to him like 5-6 yards, you can see he's almost gets it, and he's like, I don't want this, have it back, and then he goes. But then he's not getting the ball through. So then he's running. And then he's like, where's the ball?
Yeah.
Because in his head, he's thinking, pass and go, bang, I'm off. And the good moments you see from Antonee Elanga, which we have seen, is when the ball gets played over the top and he's gone. And then you think, I might just get it in the box. Just get it in the box. I mean, we saw that with the Nick Voltamodo goal, didn't we, against Everton? When he just whips the ball in. He's more an instinct player rather than a thinker who's like, right, I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do that, then I'm going to go there. He's very reactionary. And to try and teach someone who's probably all through his career has played a particular way to now go, oh, actually, no, you're not going to do that anymore here. We're going to have the ball and it's going to be pass. That's just not his game, is it? So interesting to see how he develops. But he's got all the raw materials. He's got the skill set. It's just learning to adapt to this style and using the strengths that he's got at the right moments and starting thinking a bit more and getting into those positions. And also his teammates probably acknowledging, we'll have to do that for Anthony because that's what he wants.
And he's got this problem as well, because some great balls put into the box by Murphy tonight. And with it being a home game next, that's who I'd be starting.
I'll tell you what, though, and I don't know about you boys, someone put it in the chat, actually. I forget who it was. Let me see if it was Aaron. Aaron said, Murphy's very frustrating sometimes, crossing for the sake of it sometimes when there's no options. He should cycle the ball and wait for an opening. So you've got Antonee Elanga who is giving the ball back and doesn't particularly want to take a man on. Then you've got Jacob Murphy, who gets half a yard and it's in. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved seeing that today because, you know, it was nice to see some actual fucking crosses, because at the weekend we didn't see any. So I'm not complaining here for one moment, but towards the end of the game, it was a bit like, you don't have to just keep crossing into nowhere, because a few times he just put a ball in and there was nobody there. But it was as if Eddie Howard said to him, every opportunity in the box, every opportunity in the box. But I'd rather not put it in the box. I'd rather that.
But that's what Yoane Wissa feeds off.
Yeah,
he feeds off delivery. He feeds off balls into the box, and I don't, you know, I'm all for Jacob Murphy doing it. I thought Jacob Murphy had a good first half. I thought he played really well. I thought in the second half we saw a little bit of that Jacob Murphy that we've seen in previous games, where he just wasn't at it and he was making really poor decisions and mistakes. And there was one where the ball was bouncing on the line, on the halfway line, and he tries to take a touch and it just rolls out, and it then pans to Eddie Howe, and you can see him and Tyndall talking about subs, and he says the words Jacob Murphy, and he kind of like points to what he'd just done of just putting the ball out of play on the halfway line. He was unopposed, by the way. It was just really, really poor from him. And he really dropped off in the second half. But what he was trying to do, what Jacob Murphy likes to do, he likes to keep the defenders guessing. So he's not always going to take on his man, go to the byline and whip a ball in like he did in the first half. He was trying to play the early cross. He just didn't get it right. He played the ball too straight. He didn't get enough bend on it. But Wissa was making those runs. And he was understanding that when Murphy picked up that ball, that's his cue. That's his cue to go. And again, that's Murphy testing the waters and building a relationship with our new number 9, who we've not had a chance to see play together. But what you could see already, and I said it to the boys in the Mags Down South chat, I hate to bring him up again, but it almost felt like a Murphy Isak reload. Like what we saw in the first half is Murphy finding his connection with his striker, and those moments in the first half. So for the goal happening, it was that playing Murphy down that right hand side, and then Murphy whips it across goal. Yes, the keeper got it, but then Wissa was there to score. But there was a few other opportunities where Murphy, he makes that diagonal sort of run inside to play that ball straight across to the striker, and you can see Wissa's making that run. The more they play together, the more that is going to connect. And we know that Bruno can find those passes. And we know that Miley can find those passes. And he was finding one or two of them from right back. So we know that we've got the players to find Murphy in those positions. And that's how we beat a low block in previous seasons. Last season, that's how we beat the low block, is playing that ball in, Murphy getting it across, and having Yoane Wissa jumping on the end of it. That's what we want to see. No, someone's put in there wrong, Pete. The first goal was a brilliant diagonal pass from Schär. No, that was the build-up to the goal. Schär wasn't the reason why we scored. It was a great build-up moment, but Murphy's the one that played the ball across. He made the goalkeeper come out and parry the ball so that Wissa scores. That's not taking anything away from Schär. Schär was superb. We've missed him playing those type of balls. We've missed him. Normally he does it the other way from right to left, but he was playing left centre back, so he's playing it left to right. We've missed that. But that's not the reason why we scored. Murphy and his ability to whip that ball into the box to allow a striker to get on the end of it. We saw that. How many times last season did we see Isak get on the end of a moment like that? That little ball down the side, and then he's in.
Well, look at all the Murphy's assists for Isak. How many was there?
Yeah, the one I think on the top of my head, and probably because we're near the day, is the Boxing Day one against Villa. There was that ball down the side from Murphy down the side in, Isak tapping home. We'll see that. We'll see that happening. We'll start to see that happening a lot more. Question for you boys.
I've got it. Yeah, I want to ask.
I also have a question.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if it's the same question. Go on, Pete. You go first, mate, because you were in. Go on.
Are you starting your own Wissa on Saturday?
Oh, that wasn't my question. Yeah.
Can I say, we'll all ask our questions and then we'll see which one we'll answer.
Okay,
right?
okay.
My question was, do you think it was all part of a master plan that Wissa started the game today when everyone else has gone on Afghan And should we really be thanking Felix for that, for what he's done for us? That was my question. Sorry, and your question, Chris?
My question was going to be, did you boys, and I had this pre-show, by the way, in my head, were you boys alarmed at all by the fact that, and I'm not blaming individuals here, but there was a noticeable difference for me. Were you boys alarmed that as soon as Wissa left the pitch and Baltamada came on, and then we saw Murphy come off and we saw Barnes come off, and when Gordon came on and Alanga came on, it was just like rewind in 2 weeks, and it was like, this is just how it was before. Did you boys get onto that, or is it, or am I just scarred? Because I saw it.
Yeah. Do you mean the pattern of play from the team?
Yeah. And then it was like no more crosses. Let's be boring again. I mean, we scored off a corner, by the way, to win it. But like, it was like, yeah, all that fun's over now. Let's just get back to how we've been playing the last few weeks. And it did worry me a touch. But anyway, Pete, we'll answer your question first, and then we can do the loop.
Yeah. Yes, it's the answer for me. Wissa starting, and ruining away is our big match preview. But it'd be Murphy on the right and Barnes on the left.
And I'll tell you something else as well. So the answer is yes for me too, which I revealed. But I tell you what was great. It was the fact that like it was on late 60s, early 70s, and you saw the players all around Wissa, and he's pointing, he's going, yeah, you know, he's directing the players. He's in and amongst it, which was great. And he looked like he didn't have a bead of sweat on his head. And I was thinking, he looked like he could have just carried on. And I was like, this is great. But then obviously when Eddie hooked him, I thought, yeah, he's played 70 minutes. You know, get him off the pitch. He's come through unscathed. And in my head, I'm thinking Chelsea. That's what I was thinking. But Pete, would you start?
100%. I'm actually surprised he stayed on for as long as he did. And I can't remember I said it to, but I was like, I could see it coming about 5 minutes before he got subbed, and I was like, I know we kind of have to do it, but I really don't want him to come off, because he was just looking, he was occupying the centre back so well, and he was such a threat. When anything was popping in the box, he was always so close to the action. If the ball dropped into the box somewhere, he was always in and around it, and he's just got that knack of being there where he needs to. And we're still chasing the game. It was 1-1 at the time. I was just thinking, we just need one ball to drop to him, and he's there to pick it up. Like I need to see that. I need to see that from him. Like, and actually, you know, what I would like to see is if he starts for Baltamada to come on and maybe play with him for a little bit and just play in that little pocket.
To be honest, I was hoping
just play in that pocket and let him do that work in and behind, and Baltamada can be that guy to just, you know, just be in that pocket, that number 10 pocket, pick up the ball and just make connections and just allow the ball to keep ticking over and recycle in attacking areas. But I don't see it happening. Personally, I don't see it happening, because I think Eddie's going to really want to look after him. But I think if we've got a chance of beating Chelsea or being a real attacking force against Chelsea, I do think that we need to play him. I really do think, because Chelsea's defence is not good. Their centre backs in particular are not great. They're really not. They make mistakes. They concede opportunities. And you want him on the end of them. You really
Sorry,
do.
were you saying you don't think he'll start?
I don't think he will.
Do you know?
I genuinely don't think he'll start. I want him to start. I would absolutely love him to start. I feel he needs to, but because he's played Wednesday, and the game's early Saturday, that's why I'm thinking. Like, if this was playing tonight, and then he doesn't then play, we don't then play again until Boxing Day against Man United, I think he starts again. I think they'll start him again because he had a bad rest, he had a bad training in his legs, etc., etc. But because there's only now a couple of days until Saturday, I'm not sure if Eddie Howe's going to take the risk, but I want him to, is the point that I'm making. I want him to play. I really do, because I think he just reminded me of what we did, what we can do to teams like we did last season and the season before. And this, again, it's no slant on Baltamada,
No.
But like that's the type of team that I want to see. That pressing, the work rate, the maneuvering and the movement in the box to create opportunities. Like you said, Daz, earlier on, like he's running 30 yards back and winning the ball and then going on the counter again. His hold-up play was good. He's not a big lad, but he put his body to protect the ball and was keeping play ticking over. So his hold-up play was good as well. And yeah, I think if we're going to score more goals in this team, I think we need him.
Yeah, I think he will start. And another reason why I think he'll start as well is because it's at home. And I think if it was away, and I know this sounds really odd, if it's away, I think he starts Nick Voltemade. But I think at home, the pressure on Eddie Howe to start Yoane Wissa will be huge, in my opinion, because I think he'll want everyone bang up for it. And I think if he doesn't, and say it doesn't go so well for us at the start, everyone's just going to be kicking off. And I don't think he'll want that to negatively impact on Nick Voltemade, because I think people will be screaming for Yoane Wissa if you know it doesn't pan out well. And just to touch on your point, Pete, about playing them both together, the only way, and I'm just thinking about it as you were saying it, so we set up in a traditional 4-3-3. For me, if I was Eddie Howe, if I wanted to bring, so let's say Yoane Wissa started, and I'm thinking I want to bring Nick Voltemade in, but I want to play them both. For me, it has to be a 4-4-1-1 formation. Yeah. And what you were saying then about putting Nick Voltemade in like the 10 in behind Wissa, but then linking with the central midfielders, you bring on two new wingers. So say you did this in the 70th minute, two new wingers, and you're basically saying to your wingers, your right and left midfielders, you're going to have to go up and down, but we've only got 15 minutes left of the game, but you're up and down all game for the remainder of the game. So you bring off your wingers in the 4-3-3, you put them in a 4-4-1-1, you only play with two central midfielders, but you've got Nick Voltemade at the spine of that, you know, like linking the play, and you've got two brand new wingers. So for example, today you've got Alanga and Gordon coming on, who are going to be your pace up and down. You say to them, just give me everything you've got for these 15, 20 minutes, because you're basically going to have to play left midfield, right midfield, and left wing, right wing. You're going to have to get up and support Yoane Wissa, who's playing in the 9.
Just get balls into the box.
Yeah.
That's the job. Get balls into the box, and Wissa and Voltemade need to be in there. Wissa front post, Voltemade back post. You've got two to aim for there. So if one doesn't, so if you overcook the cross, Voltemade should be there. If you undercook it, Wissa should be there lurking. That's the aim. If you're chasing the game, that's what you. Ideally, we're not chasing the game, but if you are, that's what you do. And that's
I can only see that if we are chasing the game for a goal behind or something, and that we'll see both of them on the pitch at the same time. But it will happen someday. Not until pre-season though, Alan, because we're going to coast it now for the rest of the season.
Lovely. Let me see. We've had another super chat, and it's from VIP, the Romero organisation again. Thank you so much, mate. Daz, I'm going to come to you with this because it's a Samba player, which I know you're keen on yourself, Americans. Sign Ryan Vitor from Brazil. Exactly what we need, right midfielder. We've been linked. In fact, it says Ryan. I think it's Rayan. Is it Rayan?
Yeah, it is. And I'll delegate to Foxy there. I have not done my research on the list of players, because I know there's a few defenders we've been linked with it as well. I have to do a bit of homework on them before we go into fully loaded transfer show mode. But I've heard his name mentioned. I've heard things about him as well. So and also Ross Wilson, who has been part of bringing a few Brazilians in for us. So who knows? You never know.
You guys forget when I talk on here sometimes, because I've mentioned Rayan so many times. Yeah. He would be an ideal signing on that right wing. He can play as a forward, but he can play on the right wing as well. Again, it's a young player, so coming to a new country, etc. But he just has a little bit. He just has a little bit of stardust about him that I think he could light it up for us. I really do.
And I think as well, we need to take these gambles. We can't keep, I mean, we'd love to, but we can't keep going out spending 60, 70, 80 million on players. We are going to have to start looking for young prospects. Now, apparently, Rayan has is it Rayan who's got like the 79 million release clause, but apparently he's available anywhere between 25 and 30 million. I think it was him. I could be wrong saying that, but I think it was him.
I don't know about the release clause, but when he was rumored like earlier on, I think it was like early November time. It was about it was around the 20-25 million mark.
Yeah.
That they were talking about. But the Akaliush as well has been linked recently. And he's a player that we talked about in the summer, who didn't go anywhere, which absolutely shocked me. He's a right winger. We've got a little bit of stardust.
Monaco.
For Monaco right winger. He's the one that's got a little bit of stardust about him. Had a bit of a slow start this season. Hasn't been as great, but he's a top player. Like he's one that you could bring in, and he's got that little bit of quality about him and creativity that could just unlock doors. So we're talking about right wingers here, and Eddie Howe is going to have to really, really kind of like admit wrongdoings to go and sign a right winger in January. If he goes and signs the right winger, that's basically him saying, "We fucked up. We've signed Elanga."
Yeah.
I'm not sure Eddie Howe or the club or the scouting system are going to want to admit that, but I would love them to.
Playing Paul Mitchell. There you go.
Seems to work for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sean mentions that. I think we spoke about this earlier, didn't we? But Sean said, "What would you like to see in January? For me, a left back and a left-footed winger come striker. I've seen enough of Elanga now. I feel for the kid, but he's very poor." Do you know what, Sean? He's not set the world alight by any stretch. But yeah, I think, as we've said before, I think we've got to. Yeah, I feel awful saying this, but we're stuck with him. But I do think it is still early days, and as we were saying before, he's still got to get used to this system. Some players adapt really quickly. We did hear as well, boys. I think it's fair to say we don't know any details, but that he was having some off-field issues, some personal issues, so that may have had a big impact on him. Settling and stuff like that. That could be playing a big part.
But he's just become a dad. He's just become a dad.
I don't know. Last week,
he just become a dad. Yeah.
But was it that he was the issues?
I don't know about. I personally don't know. About
yeah.
What did you hear, Chris?
Someone said it. I forget who it was, but someone said it on was it Geordie Journos? Somebody said he had personal issues. Sorry, Geordie Journos, if I've quoted you wrongly there. But yeah,
bunch of cowboys, those lads.
Yeah. Someone said it. I'm not making it up. But we'll have to see. But yeah, you're right, Pete. He has just become a dad as well. So hopefully things settle down for him. Let's hope. Right. Let's see. We've got some interesting questions in here, so I'm gonna come to them shortly. But did either of you see Bruno doing the VAT celebration? I didn't see it. But did anyone else see it? I'm assuming he means that. I'm assuming. I don't know.
I actually did see it. Was it during the celebration munch?
It must. Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but it's the kind of pettiness that I'm here for.
Yeah,
it's the kind of pettiness that I want to see from my captain. So if he did, I love you, Bruno. I love you.
Yeah. Frieden says, I'm going to get my phone out here for this one. Frieden says, will City play reserves? Obviously, in our cup game. Now, I am going to quickly, boys.
Holland didn't play. I checked.
I checked as well.
They did play a few of their reserves, which are also very, very good.
Yeah. So James Trafford was in goal, and then you had Rico Lewis right back, Kusanov centre back, Nathan Aki centre back, who hasn't been playing all that regularly because the first choice now is Diaz and Gavardiol. Left back was Nico O'Reilly, who is first choice left back. Nico Gonzalez and Tijani Reinders, who both are first team. But then you had Oscar Bob, Ryan Cherky, Savinho, and Divine Mukasa, who I have never heard of. So he started up front in place of Haaland. So yeah, there's a potential thriving. There's a potential, but will Pep take it more seriously because it is Eddie Howe's Newcastle? We will have to see. And obviously, with it being the semi-final as well, that will play a part. I think he might play a stronger team than he did tonight against Brentford, being honest. But we will see. We will see. We can only beat what's in front of us, can't we? Or play against what's in front of us. Boys, yes or no? Yes or no? Afaramas says, is Wissa the number one striker now and Big Nick on the bench for you both?
For now, yeah. But Nick has different qualities, and he will get his way back in again, and he'll need to as well because he needs to go to the World Cup with Germany, and he'll get game time and they'll swap it out. But for now, he gets the nod.
Pete,
Yoane Wissa has always been the number one striker. He's just not been able to play. If Yoane Wissa had not got injured, he would have been starting first. Nick Voltemade would have been coming off the bench. That's no slant. I don't want people to think I'm having a go at Nick Voltemade. I'm not. This was always the plan. Even Eddie Howe mentioned it. It's been well documented from back in September that Yoane Wissa was meant to be the starting guy because he's the one that can. They use the term plug in and play. He's the one that can just go because he knows the league. He's up and running. He's ready to go. He was always the number one striker. He wasn't going to be. He was going to be the Wilson replacement and was the Wilson replacement. But because of the Isaac situation, he then became number one. And then Voltemade was going to be able to be built and kind of eased into the team. It's not happened. He's ran with it. And he's been brilliant, by the way, playing literally every single minute. He's ran himself into the ground for the club. We cannot deny that in any way, shape or form. But now Wissa's back, and once he gets to 100% fitness, I think over the next few games he will be managed. So I hope he starts on Saturday. But if he doesn't, then he'll probably start at Old Trafford, which is maybe you could think that's even better. You'd want him to start Old Trafford because he's got a chance of a couple of goals there. I think what you'll start to find is once he's found his feet and he's playing regular, he'll be the guy starting.
Yeah.
And that then allows Eddie Howe to do what he said he was going to do in terms of getting some training into him. He keeps talking about this training. I personally don't agree with it, but it allows him to do some work with him on the training ground to learn the role and what he needs to be doing in this team. Even though it should have already been happening, but
we know Eddie has a particular way of doing things. We've had some frustrations in the past with Eddie, but Eddie's up till very recently produced the results, hasn't he? So in Eddie we trust, and there's no reason to.
Depends who you talk to.
Well, yeah,
not here. I'm not talking about here.
Can I ask you boys? Adrian Berda has just put a comment in. I'm sorry to take the chat off for you a second. I've not heard anything about this, so if people have, please tell me. Because there seems to be this constant talk of this over the last 3 or 4 days. And I'm not saying that Adrian's like saying it, but he's obviously saying, I reckon we get Jarrod Bowen for 40 to 50 million. For one, I didn't even know we were linked with him. Two, I haven't heard anything about him potentially even leaving West Ham. And three, we've done some good business if we get him for that price, if that was to ever happen. But has anyone heard anything of Jarrod Bowen to Newcastle? Because I haven't.
The only thing I've heard, Pete, is if you remember, I don't think it was last week. I think it was the week before. Somebody put it in the chat, and I said, because I was doing the questions, and I said, somebody said about a link with Bowen, and we were almost laughing about it, going, I've not heard that. But obviously, Adrian's now mentioned it as well. So maybe it's picking up a bit of pace, given that the transfer window opens in 15 days. That's
nonsense.
No.
I don't believe the word that guy says. That guy's a hit. He's what you call a hit and hope.
Kentucky Fried Idiot.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
From my neck of the woods as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I've not been to KFC for a while, but he's probably served me at some point over the years, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I wouldn't take that as gospel. If that's the report, we've got problems. Put it that way. Although he has got a good following. Fair play to him for that. Right. Iron Mike, and I've got my own opinion on this, but was it just me or did Gordon look completely uninterested when he came on?
He did nothing. He did nothing when he came on. I remember there was one stage where he cut inside and he tried to have a shot. I don't know if there was another pass on, but it was like I can score the winner, or maybe that was just me thinking that was a kind of a glory move. Yeah, he didn't do it when he came on. Look at himself and we said and Elanga did nothing for me when they came on. They didn't get enough time, I suppose, to even like 20 minutes to do much. But yeah, he's got his work cut out for him to get back in again, Gordon.
Yeah, and Pete, I'm gonna add a little extra onto this for you, Pete. Ali B says Gordon linked with Arsenal. Prepare for the head turn.
I welcome those. I welcome those links. I'm sorry, I do. I'm not seeing it from Gordon. He's a good penalty taker, but without those penalties, he's not offering much for me. It still annoys me that after it wasn't even 45 minutes, but like 35 minutes of a good performance away at Leverkusen, Barnes was then completely ousted out the team. I thought Barnes did okay tonight. He didn't really have many chances in goal, but I thought he linked the play well. I thought he linked well down that left-hand side with Livramento. He created a number of openings all the time, in a different way. So he doesn't attack his man in the way that Gordon does, because he hasn't got that explosive pace. But he manoeuvres the ball in a very different way, and he maintains attacks in a very different way. I think. I thought he had a decent game tonight. I thought he played well, and I'm still annoyed that he was just thrown out of the team for Gordon. I'll be honest with you, lads. I think the only reason Gordon came on the pitch tonight is because Eddie Howe thought we were going to penalties, and I think Gordon knew that. I actually don't think if we were winning comfortably, I actually don't think Gordon comes onto the pitch, and for me, that told me a lot. It told me a lot in terms of who Eddie Howe was pissed off with on Sunday. And I think Gordon is absolutely one of them. And I actually think that the conversation, I've been thinking about this today while I was at work, and I was thinking about the conversation around mentality. I don't think came necessarily from Bruno. It was Gordon. Because Gordon put a comment out and talked about mentality. And I think Eddie Howe's comments weren't aimed at Bruno. They were aimed at players like Anthony Gordon, that talks about mentality monster and all this nonsense, but then puts in performances like that we saw on Sunday. And that's the issue that I have with Anthony Gordon. He's really good. He's clearly been media trained. He's really good at talking and he's really good at saying the right things, but he doesn't action it on the pitch enough and nowhere near as consistently as he should be. And that's my frustration, because he should be the number one left winger. He should be. And we all said it at the back end of last season. He's our number one left winger and we need him to have a good season. And we all believed he would have a good season. One, because we believed that he got that monkey off his back of all the moves to Liverpool, etc., and the fact that the World Cup was coming. Those two reasons alone were the two reasons why we were convinced that he was having a good season. I'm genuinely shocked that we're sat here in the middle of December, on the 18th of December now, because it's gone past midnight, and we're having a discussion still about Anthony Gordon being so inconsistent. We are now, lads, you might not want to hear this, people in the chat, people watching back, you might not want to hear this. We are now in a moment where Anthony Gordon has had a worse time at Newcastle United than a better time. He had one good season, but remember, he had a poor 6 months before that. He had one good season, and now he's a year and a half in, nearly, since that one good season, and we're still not seeing that level of quality maintained that we saw in his first full season. So in the balance of Anthony Gordon at Newcastle United, we are now seeing him actually underperform. He is massively underperforming in his whole body of work at Newcastle United. That is unacceptable. And he's one of the highest paid players at the club. For me, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, we're actually approaching, if you get to the end of January, we're actually approaching 2 years. 2 years of underperforming and 1 year of performing.
Yeah.
So he's nearly doubled it. But yeah, my thoughts on Anthony Gordon. I hate to say this, and I really hate saying this, but my blue mates warned me about this. They warned me. They said, and I wouldn't have it. They said, he'll down tools soon enough. His head will be turned soon enough. And do you know what, Pete? You reminded me, and I was thinking this when you were talking. Like, we gave him so much grace over that England fiasco. We gave him so much grace. I'm not being funny. He went with England, didn't get played enough, granted. No, I think everybody in the whole country agreed he didn't get played enough. But then we gave him 6 months to get over it. And it's like, mate, get your head down. You paid your wage. You're a professional footballer. You get over it. You get back off the plane. You come home. You sort your head out for a couple of weeks. You get back in the zone. And considering he's this mentality monster he keeps talking about, why is it taking 6 months to get over playing 6 minutes in for England? Because that's basically
Surely that's the opposite of the mental thing.
Well, exactly, yeah. And so I think we cut him a lot of slack there. I have to say, I think we cut him a hell of a lot of slack. And the more that I see Anthony Gordon, the more I kind of witness, his body language, just the way he came on the pitch today, and I get where Iron Mike's coming from. I don't think he looked disinterested. I think he looked as if he looked as if he'd been hard done by. He looked as in that look as in I should have been starting. I don't even know why I wasn't starting. I should be on the pitch. And he come on and was like, oh, I'll do my bit. It's almost like an entitlement, and I think that's the issue that we've got. Because when you watch Anthony Gordon play for England, you don't see this. You don't see it. But what I would love to sit in a room with him, because I would love to ask him, do you think that your performances and the way that you are portraying yourself, the way that you're performing, the way that you're coming across, do you think that's going to help your England chances? I would love to ask him that. Because Thomas Tuchel's not blind. Thomas Tuchel will be seeing this. Thomas Tuchel will be looking at the stats and going, great penalty taker. But other than that, is he picking Marcus Rashford? Is he picking Andy Gordon? It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer.
He can't go to the World. He's not going to the World Cup as it stands, and he'll probably be aware of this. He's not going to the World Cup as it stands. He can't.
But he won't. But he won't blame himself. He will blame Newcastle. He'll say because he hasn't been given opportunities. Yeah. That's what he'll say.
Oh, I've not been playing. The manager hasn't been selecting me. Blah 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 blah. He'll find any excuses. He won't look himself in the mirror and go, "I've not been consistent enough. I've not been good enough." And you know what? If he comes out and blames anything on the club or the manager, right? Just get rid. Just get rid. Someone just put in the chat, and I don't know if I started it or not. Someone said, "Go and sell Anthony Gordon and go and pay the release clause for Antoine Semenyo." Happy days.
Yeah.
No, not that would be in the market for that, because you've got Man City and Liverpool sniffing around him. But
Rafael.
Wow. That'd be an exciting one. That who can also play up front as potential as a third striker. That would be an exciting one. But yeah, as I say, I'm not asked anymore with Anthony Gordon because he's not showing me anything. So I've not got no loyalty to him. Obviously, when he puts the shirt on and he's on the pitch, I want him to do well and I want him to do the best for Newcastle United. But I'm not asked with all these links. If he wants to go, let him go. Maximise your money, maximise your transfer fee, and go and get someone else. That's what I say.
Yeah, I agree. I'll read a couple of comments out, boys, and then I will finish on a non-related football question, which I do like doing when they come in. So thank you to the person who asked this question. So Iron Mike says, I'm more confident beating City over 2 legs and then a final. And I think that's a really fair point, actually. I think
you can come again, Iron Mike. You can come again. I like that positivity. Good stuff.
Yeah. Let me see. Nick Walter Mays. Pete, please forgive me, but Hal made me do it. And then he's put, he signed me to score goals in the derby.
Look at the picture.
Look at that picture. Goodness me.
March is coming around very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dugan family says, I just got back from the stadium. We were fine. Some fans were a bit disappointing, lots of moaners. When you were on social media, moan all you like, but in the stadium, support the lads. Yeah, and you know what? I think that's fair. Yeah.
Did you boys notice the atmosphere? Did you think the atmosphere was quite dull at times in the game?
Yes, but I was quite, well, I say maybe surprised the wrong words, but I noticed all of the Eddie Howe chants. And I thought it does kind of bring it back to reality a bit, though, for you, doesn't it? Because when you open social media, how. But when you're in the stadium or when you're listening, obviously, to what's going on in the stadium, there's a lot of support for Eddie. Probably because what the fans were seeing on the pitch, they could see the effort. They could see that, the players were backing Howe. The players were giving them all. So then, obviously, they want to show Eddie, that they back him. Certainly for the 90, anyway, without doubt.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete.
No, I was just going to say it just seemed a little bit dull. There was a lull. Like I said, the Eddie Howe chance, but the second half, when you thought that there might be up in the ante to get behind the boys. Obviously, when we scored and beyond that, it was great. The atmosphere was up and it was raucous. But yeah, it was a little bit dull. But I agree with Duke and family. I thought we were okay today.
Right, very quick comment here from David R. And the answer is no, David. I'm going to answer this one. As a loaded thank you to Congo, are you lads doing a watch along next Tuesday? No, we're not, David. No, we are not. But we do thank Congo. We do thank Congo for their decision to not call Yoane Wissa up. We do appreciate that.
I might.
12:30 in the day.
I might. I'm off. I could potentially.
It's not like we're doing anything else, Pete. Well,
I might be doing a bit of Christmas shopping, a bit of family time and whatever. But I might.
No way.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, no way, of course. But yeah, you know what? I might show my support. They've allowed Wissa to stay. We saw the benefits of that tonight. I did say if they kept him, I'd show my support. And as GDS said, we will be there. We will be there. I might even have to have a search for a Congo shirt. See if I can.
Oh my God! It's gone full circle.
I'm happy he's staying. Boys, this is what I said. They're a bunch of amateurs, but they've learned their lessons. They've learned the errors of their ways, and they've done the right thing. So yeah, they've done the right thing. I'll show my support. So yeah, we may well be there.
Great height.
As long as you get a Chancel and Bemba on the back, Pete, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Still love Chancel.
Yeah.
Never gave the ball away.
He never gave the ball away.
Came with the Tucks.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I love it.
Right, boys, we've got about 30 seconds, so you're going to have to be very quick on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Jumpers for goalposts. Jake versus Joshua. What are your thoughts and prediction for the fight? I'll start. I think it's a bit crazy. I think it's a bit mad. Anybody in the chat, do let me know your thoughts because I'm interested. Apparently, it's only 8 rounds, and I've got a theory on this. And I might have a bet. on it. It lasting 3 rounds or more because I think the price is really good.
I Google it. It says 3 rounds.
Oh no, it's more than 3.
Yeah, I think it's 8. I think it is 8.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But thoughts on the result, Daz?
Couldn't care less. It's on Netflix, so I might watch it.
It's an absolute mismatch, and I think you see a lot of Jake Paul jumping around the ring and trying to avoid him, a lot of hugging. But if Joshua gets one of those haymakers out, it's lights out. So I'm going Joshua.
And it's give you a result, Chris, because it's lights out for us in 5 seconds.
Yeah. No. Well, AJ will win, but I just think it'll be in round 3, round 4. That's my prediction.
See you on the next one, everyone.